Raging Cajuns baseball and basketball continues to build out their roster toward the future. Let's discuss it here on Ragin Rundown. What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Ragin Rundown, the show where you will know all things UL sports. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you can always call me Fitz. And in today's episode, we will be talking about the latest additions for Raging Cajuns baseball and basketball, two different ways that they got it done, but they're ultimately trying to build for a win-now type of team, and that's what it looks like they are shaping up to do. So we'll start off with baseball. We'll lead off with baseball as the Raging Cajuns add a transfer catcher in Jose Carmona, the Loyola Marymount transfer. Past season, he did not play with the Lions as he had a medical redshirt season. So he has 2 years of eligibility. He will be able to enter your program with some experience. Prior to him being at Loyola Marymount, he was at Odessa College, where he spent 2 seasons there. In that time, he had a .314 batting average. He had 32 RBI in 45 games where he played there. Adding a player of this caliber, you're obviously going to be trying to figure out if he's going to be able to gel and can understand what you want, if the level of talent is going to translate going up to a higher level. But it's important to add depth to your room of catchers, right? Initially, I was thinking that it was going to be 3 catchers that you would have, and Steven Spalita, Colt Brown, and now Jose Carmona. But I was told that Steven Spalita will potentially be moving to the outfield, and now Carmona will be assuming that role as the backup catcher, as Colt Brown is coming in to be the heir apparent starter, or the returning starter coming in for the next season. So obviously we know that catching is a very important toward the game of baseball, calling the game itself from a defensive perspective, making sure that the pitching staff is in sync, being able to calm those guys down in high stakes situations. And it's important to have that because sometimes the success of your bullpen is directly correlated with how good of a catcher you can have. That's why we saw last season the pitching staff be extremely well because Colt Brown was able to come in and despite being a freshman, played extremely well. That's how we saw Jose Torres come in and assume that role in the previous season. And so now being able to get that is huge as you add a depth piece in Jose Carmona. The main thing is going to be how does he fit into your program? How does he fit into the culture of what you're building? And being able to add that level of stability to the catching room. Obviously, we know that Cole Brown is young and he has young knees, and that is great right now. But being able to get him a breather, whether that is on a midweek game or in a moment, or even for a game in a series, that's always going to be important to do that. And not to mention, it gives you an option with another bat in a pinch hitting moment. If you're able to say, Jose, can you come in and come up big for us? He's proven that he can be able to do that with the type of batting average that he had while he was at Odessa College. Now it's going to be important to see how he can develop into your culture and be able to understand things and grow. It's not going to be about having competition at the position because, again, I think that Cole Brown will be your starter, but it does push him because now you can't just say, well, it's my job and no one's going to push me forward or anything. No, you're going to have to still go out and compete. And I'm sure that's exactly what he's going to do. But you do bring that little bit of competition to be able to push him and also be able to develop him. And it also gives an extra eye, a different way to see it, so to speak, as you're ultimately trying to push toward your main goal, which is to win a championship. And that's what you're trying to do. This is, again, about stability, and it's a depth move with upside, depending on how his bat develops further at this level, because he is going to see different type of pitchers. He's going to see a game elevated at a different rate. And now we see that the Sun Belt is not a mid-major college conference. We've seen now Coastal Carolina go to the College World Series. We've seen Troy do it. We've seen Southern Miss host regionals year after year. Louisiana has been a consistently good program these past few seasons. And so now he's going to enter into a league where the competition is going to be very steep. And we know Coach Diggs is going to set up a really strong non-conference slate as well to be able to prepare those guys for when they get into league play as well. And we talked about in the last episode also from a big picture perspective, the strategy appears to be that they are trying to go and get older guys. They're trying to bring them in and they're trying to win right now. This is not about having young players. This is not about waiting their turn. This is not about developing. This is about getting guys that already understand how college baseball works, bringing them in, showing them the plan of what they want, and going out and trying to win a championship. And as it looks, that's how this roster is shaping up to be. You're now up to 34 guys in total. You have 14 transfers. Um, and your bullpen, you have 8 transfer pitchers. You have 4 transfer infielders, a transfer outfielder, and now a catcher. So it's Jose Carmona at catcher, Kale Pisano in outfield. Your infield is Eric Fernandez, Jeremy Kuiper, Micah Kendrick, Manny Salas, and then your pitchers are Trent Lape, Dagan Kubat, Maddox Sullivan, Charlie Krebs, Blaine Albright, Griffin Miller, Kendall Dove, and Jackson Evers. Those are all your transfers. So again, you only have 2 freshmen in Miles Liddell and Evan Vincent, and you have all your returners coming back. So this is going to be an experienced team. This is going to be a team with expectations out of their ears now, because it's no longer about have you played the game of baseball at this level anymore. It's going to be more about how can you step up and compete when the lights are the brightest against some of the programs and the caliber of teams that they are going to face in 2027. So it should be really, really exciting to see how things will shape up for this roster. And I'll be definitely trying to see or pick the brain of Coach Diggs as time gets a little bit closer to fall ball, because obviously now they have the off season where they'll be working out, and then you'll inch closer to fall ball where we'll actually get to see how they look when they step out on the diamond. Ragin Cajuns baseball also picking up an addition to their roster as well, and it came in a different type of way, and we're going to discuss how different it was when we come back here on Ragin Rundown. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Ragin Rundown. We're going to get back to the action in just a second. But before we do, please do me a favor. Please like this video, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review, because it's going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. Before we went to break, I also forgot to mention that Cajuns baseball also added to their coaching staff as Zach LaFleur departed, your once recruiting coordinator, to go and become the head coach of his alma mater there at Turlings Catholic. And now you replace him with former LSU star Ryan Patterson. He will also serve as the hitting coach. In his career as a Tiger, he was an All-American. He had a 353 batting average during his 3-season tenure. He had 66 doubles, 5 triples, 50 homers, and 174 RBI. So being able to add someone to your coaching staff that's literally been in your position that can say, if you want to be able to do it well enough, here's what you need to do. This is another great example of being able to have that, similar to what you did with going and getting Taylor Sandiford and adding him to your coaching staff as well. So things are shaping up really, really well for baseball. Now pivoting over to the hardwood, Ragin Cajuns basketball, I thought that their roster was solidified, and then I get a notification that they signed another player. Bear with me as I'm trying to learn the pronunciation of it, and I've looked at different versions of it, but it's Mikhail Dulkay, a Russian forward from Zenit Saint Petersburg's pro basketball system, is entering your program, and you've now made an addition with him coming along the way. He played with Zenit 2 and appeared with the senior club in VTB United League, a professional basketball league at the international level. And I know the first thing that a lot of people will say is, how can a pro basketball player play at the collegiate level? And that was one of the questions that I had as well. So I kind of looked into it. As long as they have not signed an NBA contract, right, and they're able to be eligible as a basketball player, then they are good to go. This is kind of similar to what Will Wade has been doing with LSU's roster as of late. So Quantas White kind of picking out of that handbook as well. But we've seen other coaches do it across the country for several years before. So this is just another example of that. Will Wade just kind of being one that is as of recent. So Mikhail is 6'9". This season that he is coming out of, he averaged 7.5 points, 5.1 rebounds, and a steal per game. In the youth league that he was playing in, he averaged 14.7 points per game. I looked at some of his highlights, and he is a three-level scorer. He can shoot the three really, really well, but he can attack the basket and rock the rim, throwing down some slam dunks, some crazy dunks that I saw in a couple of the highlights for sure. Now, he is coming off of a fractured right arm that he suffered in March, which ended his season before he decided to move to the collegiate level. But in the article that I was reading, and I am going to reach out and have a conversation with him as well. In the article I was reading, it said his rehab would take about 2 to 3 months. So he should be healthy, according to based on that article. I'll ask him how healthy he is and how his rehab has been going. So getting a player that's played at the professional level is a completely different skill set that you're adding to your ball club now because you're seeing a player, a 20-year-old player that you're adding to your team that's been against guys that are grown men that have bumped around and they've taken their lumps and bruises and now they're coming here to the collegiate level and they can be able to come in and pick up on your system really well because they've done it at the professional level now. The pro development system started at a young age for him, and then he was able to come up through the ranks as a young star and get some opportunities there at the pro level. So in his time, also he won a couple of youth league championships, and I believe an MVP level as well. He has a great rebounding skill, which is something that you weren't able to have a ton of last season because of the height difference that you had in a lot of instances. But he has a winning background. He has ability to be flexible in the roles that he can play, and the developmental upside that he will have is great. So he comes in. They listed him as a junior, so that would mean that he would have 2 seasons of eligibility. So things are going to look really, really good adding him into your program. And so we talked in past episodes how things are shaping up for the roster, but I'll be able to read it all for you as it stands. You have 8 total guards and you have 9 total forwards. So 17 guys that you have on your roster. Your transfer portal class includes Dion Ware, Trent Middleton, Makai Cooper, Mikhail Dulkay, Danny Pounds, JoJo Harris, and Bam Florence came from a prep school. So I guess technically he's not considered a transfer. He would be considered a high school guy. So, but he's coming in as a newcomer into your program. Zayson Salona, Tyshawn Duncan, and Isaiah Wilkes are all your freshmen. And then your returners, Devion Laverne, Jamiron Keller, who's coming off of an injury but is healthy, Christian Landry, Logan Myers, Jeremiah Evans, Todd Jones, and Ramen Elijahwan. That is how your roster is shaping up. And now that you've made this addition, you've added more length to your lineup for sure. You've added someone that can go and score the basketball and that's proven that he can go and do it at a very high level. So it should be exciting to see how that's going to shape up. The guys have started summer workouts. They have started practicing together. I may try to go over and try to take a little peek to see what the roster is looking like and how those guys are shaping up to be together. So it's absolutely exciting to see how that's going to shape up. So baseball adds a catcher to their program in Jose Carmona, and basketball adds an international player from Russia in Dulkay, in Mr. Mikhail Dulkay. That's going to take me a minute to get used to. Obviously, once I meet him and interact with him, it'll become like second nature for sure. So we will see how things shape up for both of those programs. But that's going to wrap up yet another episode of Ragin Rundown. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. Please do me a favor. Please like it, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We'll see you guys next time.